Bhakti Shastri Bhagavad Gita course. We are continuing the 9th chapter. Yesterday we covered first and second verse. Today we are moving to third verse. So, in summary, last two verses we saw how Krishna is dealing Vijnana Sahitam and is giving knowledge and realizations also by knowing that person can be liberated from this material world. And this is very confidential knowledge Krishna is telling. Gujatamam, idam tude gujatamam. Idam means devotional service. And to whom he is giving? Pravakshami anusuyave. Only to those who are non-envious. So we saw how the envy creates a barrier and doesn't allow one to access Krishna's or appreciate Krishna's glory. And Krishna is also very concerned about the envious people. He doesn't want them to fall down more. Therefore, this knowledge is not revealed to them. But the devotees, they get engaged in a devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. So in that way, they can be revealed who the Lord is. Thus, by nicely understanding this particular verse, there are two benefits. One is one gets knowledge and realization, just like Arjuna got. And second thing is, he'll get freedom from the material world. And the second verse spoke in detail about characteristics of such a devotional service. Rajavidya, Rajaguisha, Pavitram, Idamuttamam, Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmam, Susukham, Kartur, Avyayam. So we saw how is king of knowledge, is most confidential, and it frees. Pavitram Idamuttam is the purest of all activities, and direct perception of self by realization. And Dharmam is the perfection of religion. Susukham is blissfully practiced, and Avyayam is eternally and everlasting. So this is what we saw yesterday in two verses. And today we are moving to the third verse. Just getting to the verse on the screen. Today I got a translation also, you could read directly from here. Share. अश्रद्धधाना पुरुषा धर्मस्य परन्तप अप्राप्य मां निवर्तन्ते मृत्यु संसार वर्त्मनि. Would like to read Aman Prabhu.
Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world.
Yes. So this is second qualification. First qualification was non-envious. And second qualification is what? One need to be Shraddhadhana. If he is Ashraddhadhana, then he will not be able to understand and attain the Krishna actually. If he is not having that faith, that Shraddha, then he will not be able to understand Krishna. And because he will not be able to understand Krishna, he will act the way he wants. And therefore he will get bound up by the material laws of nature and he will fall down again to this material birth and death. Time and again, he will punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. We see in this poster here how he is taking different bodies, coming to the life again and again. So, development of that faith is the process of Krishna consciousness actually. Faith is the most important factor. It is said that bhakti runs on two tracks. One is faith and knowledge. So knowledge of the scriptures and faith in the parampara. And what is that faith is spoken in the purport by Srila Prabhupada. So development of that faith is the process of Krishna consciousness because in the beginning, ado shraddha we start. And when it comes to the prema, bhava and prema, the prema is the fullest manifestation of shraddha. So when one is moving from ado shraddha, sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya, anartha nivritti, the faith is increasing more. Anartha is over, then comes nishtha, full faith, and then the intense practices, um, bhava, asakti, bhava, prem. So that goes. So that faith is defined that simply by serving Krishna, one can achieve all perfection in one's life. Just he has to have that conviction that if I serve Krishna, everything in my life will be complete and perfect. Just like there are two verses given. What is the definition of Shraddha? Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Shraddha Shabda Vishwasa Kahe Sudrida Nishchay Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita Hai. Would like to read translation. Indranil Prabhu can read. He was raising hand last time. Then next time Surya Prabhu. Next verse.
Okay. Shraddha is confident, firm faith that by rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. Such faith is favorable to the discharge of devotional service.
So this faith is of devotional service, no? So that firm faith that if I render loving service to Krishna, then all other activities which are there, that will be automatically taken care by the Lord. And such faith is very favorable for the devotional service. So we see the nice picture here, no? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a gardener watering the tree, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a trunk having the branches of Panchatattva and Shad Goswamis and expanding more all directions, no? And here are the devotees eating nice fruits, distributing fruits, spreading the fruits around. Another example is given about Shraddha. Yes, Surya Prabhu, you can read. यथा तरोर्मूलनिषेचनेन तृप्यन्ति तत्स्कन्दभुजोपशाखा प्राणोपहारश्चेथेन्द्रियाणां तथैव सर्वारहणमच्युते च.
Pouring water on the root of a tree, energizing the trunk, branches, twigs, and everything else, and others supplies food to the stomach and livings, the senses and limbs of the body, simply keeping the Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotional service automatically satisfies the demigods who are parts of that Supreme Personality.
Yes. So just like tree has been watered, all branches get nourished. Similarly, when Lord is served, all demigods, all nature, all living entity, everything gets satisfied. So that is Shraddha. So how this faith will come in one's life? By association of devotee. If more person associate with devotees, he will more advance in Krishna consciousness. So therefore, the secret of success is advancement in Krishna consciousness is association. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Kai. Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi Hoy. So we should be eager always to take association of senior advanced Vaishnavas. That is a source of success. And that faith is at three stages. First level, highest level, second level, firm faith, and third level, lowest faith. So these are the three types of Krishna consciousness men on the basis of faith. So this is what Prabhupada explains in the purport. So what is the third level? He doesn't have good faith, neither he has knowledge about the scripture. And such person will easily fall down, although he is engaged in the devotional service. And he can't achieve the perfectional stage because he has come to Krishna consciousness with a devotion or some hidden motives. So he doesn't have faith also. होगा नहीं होगा पता नहीं, लेकिन करते हैं. And he doesn't want to study scripture also. He doesn't want to give time. Doesn't want to study also. So, but why is doing then? Maybe there are certain alternative motives. Hmm. So therefore, he is not steady. He can fall down any time because his motives are fulfilled. Then he will say bad tata goodbye. Or his motives are not fulfilled, then he will get angry and then leave. So like that it will happen. So these hidden motives doesn't make one's faith stable. But second level is there that he has a firm faith, but not very advanced in devotional scriptures. But he is simply trying to follow the association and simplicity. Simplicity with simplicity is going ahead. So in this level, he has a firm faith, but not much understanding. That is second level. And the first level is he has a firm faith and is well versed in scriptures also. He can just quote the verses, and with that conviction, he can uh, defeat the arguments. And such person will never fall down. Such person will always progress with path of Krishna consciousness. So such a person with a faithfulness, he will progress. But one who doesn't have faith, what is the fate for him? So for such a person, he has very little hope for perfection, who doesn't have faith in devotional aspects. Hmm. Even after hearing about Krishna and excellence of the devotional service, he thinks that it is simply just eulogy. Huh? It is there, okay. Even if he supposedly engaged in devotional service, he doesn't have much firm conviction and faith. And naturally, such person will come back, return to the path of birth and death again and again. So therefore, conclusion is that after reading Bhagavad Gita, give up all other engagements and adopt the service of the Lord with full faith. That is uh, the conclusion of this verse. One can practice. Once he understands devotional service, then he keeps it as a first priority in his life, not as a part-time job, as a full-time job. Krishna consciousness is not an additional activity, it's a life. Hmm. He understands Bhagavad Gita and he practices on that level. Hmm. So therefore, one has to understand that uh, Krishna consciousness is not just an external activity, but it is internal involvement, consciousness involvement in a devotional service. Uh, if there are doubts while practicing the external activities, are ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है, ये क्यों हो रहा है, ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है, so doubts are like they are not allowing internally person to grow, and therefore such doubts will eat his faith internally. उनको लगा यार ये काम नहीं करता है, ये भक्ति भक्ति कुछ है नहीं, it doesn't work. Actually, they are sentimental fellows. They want to just practice. Such kind of doubts will eat up the our Shraddha inside and then will not allow us to grow progressive devotional service. Therefore, this faith is very important aspect in the progress of Krishna consciousness. So faithlessness cannot attain Krishna. So now here, next verses, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that in 7 verses, Lord speaks about the knowledge of the power of God required by the devotee who are situated in Dasya Bhakti. So from 4 to 10, so these are the verses which this knowledge is very much important for a person who is situated in Dasya Bhakti. And Baldev Vidyabhushan says that this now amazing power what Krishna is going to describe about himself is stimulate devotees' devotion. My God, my Lord is so big, so wonderful. So feels very happy about it. And Sridhar Swami says, having made the hearer inquisitive about the knowledge, that knowledge is described in 2 verses now. तभी तक knowledge के बारे में बताया, then he felt inquisitive about it. So those knowledge is described in the next 2 verses, 4 and 5. So what Krishna is telling? Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina mastani sarvabhutani nachaham tesha vastitaha. Would like to read Venkatesh Prabhu, Venkat Prabhu.
By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them.
Yes. So this is a very special feature of the Supreme Lord, no? Or Krishna. So by Krishna only, in his unmanifest form, the entire universe is pervaded. So the entire universe is pervaded. He is pervaded. So all beings are in me. Krishna is saying all beings are in me, but I am not in them. So looks like very confusing. But yes, it is very, very interesting concepts also. So Krishna has three aspects: Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan. So we'll see that in detail this here. How Krishna is moving from he is also acting through his energy, and he as a person also is personally present there. So Lord, by all pervasiveness, does not lose his personal existence. If he spread everywhere, that does not mean that Krishna as a particular Tribhanga Lalita form is now destroyed. No. And yet, Krishna is a person is seen from his activities. Like Krishna, he is seen as a loving personality also because he is caring for the whole living beings. His loving heart is seen. Just like Krishna is as a raso mapsu konteya prabhasmi sashishuriya. So he's giving the juice, fruit, so that people are satisfied. They are very happy. And also, Krishna is very uh, head wala person with a lot of intelligence. He has intelligent head. He's organizing everything, all the universes were in proper fashion, and how they are moving in wonderful directions, how they are never colliding with each other. So Krishna is entering into each planet by his energy, and they stay in orbit. Gama Vishyacha Bhutani Dharyamyat Amojasa. So when person, he has a very big heart, loving heart, caring heart, and he also has a big brain. So with such a person, he is always a pervading in his personal existence. So this is just like the king in his subjects, all mantris are there, council members are there, and they all council members are having the particular aspect of king's personality to execute. Somebody is taking care of finance, somebody is administration, somebody is taking care of expansion, somebody is taking care of treasury. All those different aspects are there. So similarly, just like king is present by in all departments by his energy through his ministers, his councils. Similarly, Krishna is all pervading by his energy. So this is a very amazing understanding how Krishna is inconceivably present in the whole creation. So therefore, Prabhupada mentions in the purport, Atah Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahyam indriyai sevonmukhe hi jivado swayameva spuratyadaha. So one cannot understand Krishna I think I'll take into the next verse. This is fifth verse, fourth verse here only. So what I was talking about, purport, from the purport, Prabhupada says that one cannot see Krishna through his gross material senses. Rupa Goswami mentions in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So if he is engage his tongue in glorifying the Lord and in tasting the prasadam given by the Lord, then he will be able to understand. Only when person has prema anjana churita bhakti viloche, when develop that santa sadaiva vedayashu vilokiyanti, that loving eyes to see the Lord, then he'll be able to understand the Lord. Otherwise, it is very difficult for him to understand the Lord. So, thus people in general, he is not visible. Here it is said that although he is all pervading, everywhere present, he is not conceivable by the material senses. This is indicated here by the word Avyakta Murtina. But actually, although we cannot see him, everything is resting in him. So that is the fact. That is the fact. Next verse. न च मस्तानि भूतानि पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम् भूतभन्न च भूतस्थो ममात्मा भूतभावना. Yes, Dhananjay bro.
Translation. And yet, everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not part of this cosmic manifestation, for myself is the very source of creation.
So bhuta bhanna cha bhutastho mamatma bhuta bhavana. न च मस्तानि bhutani पश्य मे yogameshwaram. So he's saying, in the previous verse, he's saying that they are in me, but I am not in that. Yet, everything that is created does not rest in me. So it looks like Krishna is contradicting. And then Krishna is saying, behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I maintain all living entities and I am everywhere spread. I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation. For myself is the very source of creation. So we understand this pastime, Yashodhama is pastime. There's a small child, but in his mouth, whole Brahmanda is seen. So, but he is playing around, he is doing all Lila, Govardhan or in Vrindavan. But creation is there, creation is going on. So, इसलिए, this is very, very special feature of Krishna to understand. So here, living entities, they do not rest upon Krishna. Everything that is created does not rest upon Krishna. That is Yoga Vaishwaram. That is the inconceivable mystic opulence of Lord Krishna. So, everything is in him, but he is still aloof, not directly connected to the maintenance. Like in a Greece, there's a one personality called as Atlas. And then Atlas is what their understanding is this person has created the whole creation and is holding like this for a long period of time. And then he's tired also. It looks like he's tired. So Krishna is not like that personality who created the universe and now is tired. Arey, my God, it's too big now to handle to me. No, Krishna's energies are handling. But how can he be aloof? That is a little inconceivable. And for that, it is given here. The planetary systems floating in the space, and space is the energy of the Lord, but he is different from the space. The whole big space is there, whole creation is there. Space also is Kham Mano Buddhire Vacha, coming from Krishna. Planets are there, they are also moving. So, but still they are different from Krishna. Krishna is not in them. So this is how Krishna is different. Krishna's mind and Krishna himself is not different. So when Krishna thinks something, by his just thinking, the energies act and they create everything. That is little inconceivable for us who are embodied in this material bodies. And Krishna says, although he is spreading everywhere, he is avyayam, eternally everlasting. So Mayavadis, they generally say that, Parabrahma, he has spread and then it is love everywhere merged. So it doesn't have any personal existence. No. Actually, Krishna has a proper particular existence as eternal Sachidananda Roop. And that Roop can only be understood by a devotee. By reading scriptures like Brahma Samhita, Bhagavad Gita, and Bhagavatam, then he will be able to understand more. So apparently it appears that Krishna is lying, but rather than thinking that Krishna is lying, actually Krishna is making us more better way understand what he is by telling what he is and what he is not. So Lord is giving more clarity about his Aishwarya, and only person with the faith can understand. That is devotional service. We see that pastime of Brahmana and cobbler. No, so cobbler did not have a doubt, and Brahmana had a doubt. So Brahmana, although having full knowledge, but he was not able to understand. He did not have that faith. And cobbler, he was simply having faith in Narad Muni and the Supreme Lord's creation. So that is different. That is different. Person cannot understand. So Krishna is Ichchanurupamapi sacheshtate sam. Is by his desire only everything he can create. It is also said that Swabhaviki Jnana Bala Kriya. By his energies only, Jnana Kriya, Ichcha, Shakti, by that everything keeps happening actually. So some people are there in the creation, they say that Krishna is a very intelligent person, very thoughtful person. He wrote Bhagavad Gita. But his pastimes like Govardhan Lila and all, they are actually after on added just to make him big man. So it is very difficult for people who try to understand Krishna from their mundane intelligence point of view. They cannot accept the divinity aspect of Krishna in their life. They get bewildered by seeing such extraordinary pastimes of the Lord. So therefore Krishna says, I am the maintainer, but I am not in them. Bhuta bhunnacha bhutastu. So he doesn't get attached to the creation, and he allows living entity to uh, take their free choices and mess up with the things. Of course, whatever they do, they will get caught up with their reactions also. That happens. So this is and another aspect Acharya speaks about is mamatma. So somebody may confuse with this word, but then it is explained in a sense. Acharya says that sometimes this Rahu means what? Rahu is only head. His cut is Rahu. When Mohini Murti cut his head, his whole body is just head only, because that drank the nectar and that is only immortal now. But sometimes while speaking, somebody may say that is Rahu's head actually. But Rahu means Rahu's head only. So in that sense, Mamatma. Yes, that is why Krishna is using this word. So uh, this is how Krishna is everything that is created does not rest in him, and therefore is showing that see my power. So now this understanding he will give one good example to understand now. What is that example? Yeah, example is Yathakasha sthito nityam vayu sarvatra go mahan तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि मत्स्थानि इत्युपधारय. Yes, Akash Prabhu.
Understand that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere, rest always in the sky, all created beings rest in me.
Yes. So, here the sky is a creation of Krishna. Wind also is a creation of Krishna. Sky is such a huge, you just can't fathom how huge is the sky. And wind also is so powerful. In fact, by the power of wind, everything is moving around. Without that, it's very difficult. So very powerful wind, but that wind cannot cross the boundaries of the sky. We cannot go beyond the sky. So similarly, uh, Krishna is that limit proper, and living entities are there around. So living entities have unlimited freedom in a limited space. Mhm. So they have unlimited freedom within the limited framework. That is the soul in this world. Mhm. Just like air is within the sky, similarly, living entities are also situated in Krishna. So this is how yatha kasha sthito nityam. And that is Krishna is giving this example to show his Aishwarya, sky and wind. So just like sky is the biggest manifestation to conceive, in that sky, wind is also the biggest to conceive. And wind is great and influences all the movements, but wind is never beyond the sky and is always subordinate to sky. So similarly, living entities are also subordinate to the Supreme Lord. So there are other examples are given from Taittiriya Upanishad that wind blowing under the will of the Supreme Lord. And from Brahma Samhita, it is sun, moon, and other planets also are moving under the supreme order of the Lord. What is that shloka from Brahma Samhita, where sun, moon are moving the planet? Everything is planet. Would like to quote?
एक चक्षुरेश सविता सकल ग्रहण.
Yes, Raja Samasta Suramurti Shashesha Teja. So all the living entities as well as the big planets and everything is moving by Krishna's will. That is the power of Krishna. So now, after explaining this maintenance and creation part, now further, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says that I understand that these things which can presently be seen are situated in you. What I am seeing currently in the creation, it is situated in you. But at the time of destruction, where will they go? So Krishna is speaking now in the 7th verse now. That same thing. Or Baldev Vidyabhushan and Siddha Swami says that it has just been stated that the maintenance of all the living being takes place by the will of the Lord alone. Now Lord will speak about the creation and destruction of the living entities also. Sarvabhutani kaunteya praकृतिं yanti mamikam kalpakshye punasthani kalpado visrujamiham. Vishwas Prabhu.
O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, all material manifestations center into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again.
Yes. So Sarvabhutani kaunteya praकृतिं yanti mamikam. So all these living entities, uh, at the end of the millennium, all manifestation enter into Krishna's nature. And at the beginning of another millennium, by Krishna's potency, he create them again. They again come in the creation. So this is the creation and what happens at the time of destruction. It is given here. So here, Kalpakshay means referring here, Acharya says it is a Mahakalpa actually. It is Lord Brahma's whole lifespan, not Lord Brahma's day. So we understand Brahma's lifetime is like one day is like one kalpa, that is 1,000 Mahayugas. Yuga Mahayuga means or Divya Yuga means Satya Treta Dwapar Kali together. So like that when 4 cycles happens, complete full one cycle, and that is 1,000 times, that is kalpa. And that is the day of the Lord Brahma. That much is also night. So one day is together 8.64 billion human years, and that is into 30. That is 30 days is 1 month, and 12 month is 1 year, and 50 years is 1 pararda, and 100 years is 2 pararda, and Brahma lives for Dvipararda. So life from Brahma is 1 Mahakalpa. That is 311 trillion and 40 billion human years. Very difficult for us to understand what is this lifespan. But after that, what happens? Annihilation of Brahma's life. Like this, you see, Krishna is there, Mahavishnu is there, but then this is Brahma, this is one universe. So there are many unlimited universes are there. They all get destroyed at the end of the Brahma's life. So this verse is speaking about Brahma's uh, annihilation at the end of the Brahma's life. Kalpakshay. So what happens when Brahma's life is end? All living entities, they get into the Krishna's nature. So this is how at the time of destruction, all living entities goes in Krishna. And when creation comes, Brahmaji next birth happens, again they take birth. That is the next process for them. So in summary, this is a creation. From the spiritual world, a lot of expansions comes, in that Mahavishnu comes. And from Mahavishnu, there are so many Brahmandas comes. And by his glands, that is Vishnu, Mahatattva is impregnated. And then when this happens, then Brahmaji is created in the universe. And then Brahmaji creates secondary creation. That is, he creates all living entities. Just to fulfill their desires. Because they had all different desires. As per their desires and their karma, their capacity, by the will of the plan of the Lord, Brahmaji creates the whole creation for all of them, to give them idea to enjoy, try to understand this creation for their self-realization. So that is the Brahmaji's creation. So Brahmaji's creation is secondary creation. First creation is Supreme Lord's creation. This is primary creation. So all structure is given by Krishna and Vishnu, and then Brahmaji creates within that universe. So this is the creation. So this particular verse Prabhupada uses for counteracting the theory of evolution. Theory of evolution says the living entities, they grow one by one, one by one. Darwin predicted, thought, and this is how it grew up. But here, our theory says, Vedic theory says, Krishna is saying what? That Brahmaji creates all living entities to fulfill their desires. That is how they all are simultaneously appearing. Therefore, it is not as what is said there. We are going to the next verse, 8th verse. But how can you create if you are detached and are unchangeable by the nature? How can you create? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur or Sridhar Swami says that. So this verse is answering that. Prakritim swam avastabhya visrujami punah punah bhutagramam imam krishnam avasham prakruter vashad. Deveshru.
The whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again, and under my will, it is annihilated at the end.
The whole cosmic manifestation is under him. By his will, automatically it is manifested again and again. So Krishna has made a kind of automated pilot system there. Things are just progressive by Krishna's will. So how it happens? What is the Krishna's relationship with the creation and destruction? That is explained in this verse. So Lord Krishna's relationship with creation and destruction is Material world is inferior energy of Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is not the primary. It is an inferior energy, not superior energy. And when Krishna's creation is there, how Krishna as a Paramatma is aloof from that? Because Krishna, by his will only, is doing everything. Ichhanurupamapi yasya sacheshtatesam. So his supreme will is always present, whether Krishna is personally present there or not. And he doesn't have direct involvement. Hmm. Why doesn't he have? He himself does not create or destroy because his energies does it. Hmm. It acts to the material nature. And what is the basis of creation? According to their previous inclinations, desires, whatever the living entities have there, based on that, it has been created. So this is how Krishna, through the material energy, uh, helps living entities to get their bodies to fulfill their desires. Because Krishna is desiring that let all living entities get completely satisfied with their desires to enjoy. And when they realize, they'll also uh, take the right choice to come back to Godhead. So whole creation that is happening by the will of the Lord. And that's what we saw right now with how Prabhupada tells about modern concept of creation and Krishna's concept of creation. That all living entities are simultaneously produced by Brahmaji, not one after another, like the recent scientist speaks about. Yes. Next verse. So, but then since you do so much activity, how is it that you do not get bound like the jivas? If somebody is doing activity, then he gets bound in karmic reaction. This verse will answer now that aspect. What Krishna is saying, न च मां तानि कर्माणि निबन्धन्ति धनञ्जय उदासीनवदासीनम् असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु. Tanishq Prabhu.
O Dhananjaya, all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached from all these material activities, seated as though neutral.
As we discussed in the chapter 3rd and 4th, what is that makes person bound to the reactions? If somebody is performing karma, what is that it makes us bound to that karma to get a result, or what is that which makes us free from that karma? My question to all of you who would like to answer.
Consciousness.
Mohit Prabhu.
Even shloka comes yagyartharth kaman tatra lokoyam karuna.
So what does it mean?
ये वाला shloka. When we work for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, that same work liberates us. And when we work for ourselves, that does not liberate.
Okay, you could quoted nice shloka. Akash would like to elaborate on that.
Simply we can say attachment to that work. If we are attached to that work for ourselves, for our enjoyment, then that will bind us.
Yes. So when we have, good, thank you. So when somebody has that attachment to the fruits of activities, that makes him bound to the work. And when somebody is doing that activity without attachment, with the detached spirit, with the renounced spirit, that is what Krishna was telling again and again. You don't have to renounce the activity, but you have to renounce the fruits of the activities. So when somebody is serving, working with the devotion, then he will not get entangled. But if somebody is working for getting fruits of the activities, then he will get more and more entangled. So Krishna is saying that udasinavat. seated as though neutral. I am ever detached from all these material activities, and therefore this work cannot bind me. So no work can bind Krishna. He is ever a detached personality. So does that mean that Krishna doesn't have any work? No, Krishna has a lot of work to do. That is love. He is exchanging rasa with all his devotees in spiritual world. And the material world, he desires, and by that desire, Maya Devi, she is creating everything. She is making sure that things are moving forward. Uh, And Krishna remains as a neutral personality, like a judge. So here we see Lord Krishna's engagement in the material world doesn't mean that he doesn't have engagement. He always have blissful pastimes in the spiritual world. And Katha, Ganam, Natyam, Gamanam, Api, Priya, Vamshi, Sakhi. Lord is not directly responsible for the good and evil done in this world. The Lord has created the system, but Lord is out of the system. Lord is not forcing anybody to get into the system. But if somebody gets into the system, then he will have to follow the laws properly. Just like government doesn't want to trouble citizen, but government has created a kind of a jail. But if somebody is not following the proper rules, then he will put in the system. He will go to there. So therefore, he is not directly dealing and is not directly responsible. It is happening through a system. Therefore, he is not responsible for that. And Krishna is ever detached from all these material activities. He does it like Udasinavat, as neutral, just like a high court judge. He gives so many decisions. इसका प्रॉपर्टी उसको दे देता है, उसका मनी उसको दे देता है, इसका पैसा उसको आ जाता है. But he is unaffected by that because he doesn't get any profit for himself, neither he gets loss for anything else. So Lord is like that, always neutral, and his activities are carried out by his different potencies, different energies, not by the Lord himself. But still, he has a control over every minute details. That is a speciality of Lord Krishna. So this is how Krishna's so many activities never bind him. So now we have seen Krishna's creation, maintenance, and Krishna's destruction also. So all this activity, now Krishna is telling the conclusion part. What Krishna is saying? Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagadvi parivartate. Yes, Sushant Prabhu.
This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again.
Yes, finally Krishna is telling that which is one of my energy, my material nature, is working under my direction. Maya adhyakshena. Maya adi akshena. Aksha means eyes, and adhyakshena means under the control of his eyes. Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam. So, achara, achara, whatever things are happening in creation, maintenance, and destruction, that is happening by my observation, by my adhyakshata, my supervision. And therefore, he is not caught up. Yeah. So Krishna, his supreme will is the very powerful. Without the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, material nature cannot do anything. Unless Krishna glances, Mahatattva will be lying like that only. Jivas will not come there. And Lord is neutral, but he is very aloof and he simply sanctions the material energy. He doesn't do anything. He just lying in the causal ocean. And he gave whole charge of action to Maya Devi. She is doing with all her 10 hands the work of material nature by the uh, 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 help of Shivji. Shivji is a glance which comes from the Lord Krishna. So everything is done by that. And very nice example is given how Krishna is aloof from that. In the Smriti, very nice analogy comes. That fragrance of a flower touched by the smelling power of a person. Person is smelling the flower, but he is not connected. He is getting all fragrance. Flower is different, fragrance is different, but he is also connected to that. So similar to like this, Krishna has a connection with the material creation. And another analogy is spoken from Bhagavad Gita is that Lord is a father and material nature is like a mother. The Lord glances, but the species are decided based on their past deeds and their activities. So in summary, 1, 2, 3, what we saw creation and destruction. Under the who would like to read the creation part, Krishna's role in creation and destruction. Venkat Prabhu, first these verse points you can read.
Under the influence of Lord's energy, material world is automatically created and destroyed again and again. At the end of millennium, all material manifestations enter into Krishna's nature. Mahavishnu is the resting place of all material. It is Lord Krishna himself who controls this process as the Purusha Avtaras. At the beginning of another millennium, the Lord again creates by his potency.
Yes, so this is how the role of Lord in the creation and destruction. Yogendra Prabhu, you can read Lord Krishna's role in maintenance.
Lord pervades the entire universe by his energies. He pervades in his unmanifested form, which can only be revealed by devotional service. Everything rests in him, but still he does not lose his personal existence. Inconceivable mystic opulence, he is aloof from all the material creation and everything happens just by his will.
Yes,
Analogy of
go ahead.
Analogy of sky and wind example. Sky is the biggest manifestation to conceive. In that sky, wind is the biggest to conceive. Wind is great and influence all the movements, but wind is never beyond the sky. It is always subordinate to the sky.
Right.
All wonderful cosmic manifestation compared here to the movement of the wind exists by the will of the Lord. A Lord compared to the sky. Still, Lord is aloof and unaffected, just like sky is aloof and not affected by the movement of wind.
This is how Krishna is maintaining. This is his role in maintenance. And still, Lord is neutral. The Lord is not directly responsible for any of the activities in material existence. He simply sanctions the material energy based on the past deeds and desires of the living entity. So this is how Krishna's Aishwarya is there. This is amazing Aishwarya of the Krishna. That although he is creating and although he is maintaining, although he is getting it destroyed also, but Krishna is not affected by it, not involved in it. It is just that through his energies, everything is getting it done. So this is Yogam Aishwaram aspect of the Lord we saw today. Next time we'll continue how different living entities relate with Krishna or how they connect to the Krishna in different ways. So any question based on today's discussion? Indranil Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, can you once repeat that analogy of flower and fragrance? Means how flower and fragrance is different from smelling power of a person and person. So how to relate with this Prakriti and Krishna?
Yes. So it is told by Krishna that he is neutral, he is not affected, he is not in direct touch with Krishna. But the Smriti Shastras gives understanding that flower has a fragrance. So flower is a one entity, and fragrance is a very subtle. And the person's smelling sense is there. So they are in touch also, but they are not in touch also. That is the point. How they are in touch? Because a man can smell the fragrance, but he is not touching the flower. He's just standing next to the flower, but he is able to fragrance nicely smell also. So similarly, Lord Krishna is very close. What close? Is very pervading only in the whole material creation. But still is aloof. He is not into that. So Krishna as a person, personality of Godhead, he is individual personality present, but whole creation is acting through him, although not directly connected, but is subtly connected by the will only. Is that okay? Very true.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Any other Aman Prabhu?
थैंक यू प्रोजी इतना अमेजिंगली मतलब भगवान की ग्लोरीज बताने के लिए। और प्रोजी मेरा एक प्रश्न था कि लाइक उसमें वो टर्म आया था कि व्हाट कॉजेज द बॉन्डेज इन दिस मटेरियल वर्ल्ड लाइक
Right.
फिर तो प्रभु जी इसमें भगवान की क्वालिटीज है कि लाइक वो न्यूट्रलिटी मेंटेन कर रहे हैं। हमारे केस में प्रभु जी हम लोग अगर अटैच होते हैं तो बाउंड होते हैं, तो न्यूट्रलिटी मेंटेन करना इम्पोर्टेंट है कि डिवोशन उसमें कितना मींस फैक्ट मीन कितना उसका इफेक्ट रहता है डिवोशन का रादर देन मेंटेनिंग न्यूट्रलिटी।
No, we cannot maintain neutrality. We are Tatastha only. We have to take shelter one place, either to Maya or to Krishna. Therefore, Krishna can be neutral. We cannot be neutral. Therefore, Krishna is Krishna. We have to take shelter of the Lord only. Then only will be freed from all the karmic reactions.
तो जी
Okay?
उसका डेस्टिनेशन क्या होगा लाइक इफ समवन इज मेंटेनिंग न्यूट्रलिटी बट ही हैज नो डिवोशन।
He will go to Brahma Jyoti.
ओके तो
Surya Prabhu.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु। जी एक क्वेश्चन था, जैसे 9.8 भगवद गीता पे जो वर्स आया था जिसमें प्रकृतिम स्वाम वस्तभ्यम वैसे करके था, उसमें जिसमें ट्रांसलेशन में प्रभुपाद जी लिख रहे थे कि अंडर माई विल द होल कॉस्मिक ऑर्डर इज अंडर मी, अंडर माई विल इट इज ऑटोमेटिकली मैनिफेस्टेड अगेन एंड अगेन।
Right.
सो प्रभु जी इसमें मेरा ये थोड़ा सा आ रहा था कि बाय माई विल ऑल्सो एंड ऑल्सो ऑटोमेटिकली, सो मतलब ये थोड़ा सा चीज लग रहा था कि कैसे ऑटोमेटिकली भी हो रहा है और विल में भी हो रहा है भगवान के।
हाँ,
सो कैसे
शुरुआत
अंडरस्टैंड।
में भगवान ने विल किया और सिस्टम बना दिया उसके लिए, और सिस्टम ऑटोमेटेड हो गया. So without that will, that system is not in a place, because Lord willed it. भगवान ने इच्छा की, इसलिए वो सिस्टम आ गया और सिस्टम चलते रह रहा है आगे, है ना. ओके, so should we stop here for today? Thank you very much. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल.